There comes a moment, quiet, personal, often unnoticed by the world, when a person decides they've had enough. Enough of settling. Enough of shrinking. Enough of watching life pass by like a train they never boarded. It doesn't come with fanfare. It comes in silence. It comes when you look in the mirror and realize that the life you've been living doesn't match the fire inside your soul. That fire has been whispering for years. It knows you're capable of more, of rising, of leading, of winning. But it's been muffled. Drowned out by fear, by comfort, by the subtle poison of distraction. Until one day, it roars. And you can't ignore it anymore. That's the beginning of transformation. And it doesn't start with changing your environment. It starts with changing your mind. The battlefield is internal. The enemy is within. And your greatest weapon is mindset. Every world shaper, every empire builder, every giant who moved history forward, didn't start with resources. They started with relentless belief. A vision no one else could see. A conviction so powerful that failure became irrelevant. Lincoln lost nearly every election before he became president. Edison failed over 1,000 times before he gave the world light. Oprah was fired, Walt Disney told he lacked imagination, Ford laughed out of the room. But they mastered the mind. They trained it like a warrior trains his blade, through repetition, discipline, and an unshakable refusal to quit. You will never outgrow the limits of your mindset. You will only rise to meet them. So if you want to go further, dig deeper, build higher, you have to forge a stronger mind. And that starts with belief. Belief is not hope. It's not wishing. It's not naive optimism. Belief is war. It is resistance against the noise of the world telling you what's impossible. It's standing in front of your doubts like David before Goliath and saying, I know who I am. Because belief doesn't come from results. It creates them. The world doesn't give you permission. It waits to see what you're made of. And most people, they're waiting to feel ready. Waiting to be confident. Waiting for proof. But the winners, they move before they're certain. They leap before they see the net. They build belief through motion, not motivation. Carnegie wasn't born powerful. He forged belief through years of labor, self-education, and fire-tested resilience. He trained his mind to see opportunity where others saw obstacles. And so must you. Because your mind will lie to you. It will say, you're not good enough. You've tried before. You're too late. And unless you master it, unless you own it, it will own you. The most dangerous place is not poverty. It's not failure. It's a comfortable life built on a limited mindset. A life where you survive, but never soar. The man who believes he can and the man who believes he can't, are both right. But only one of them will build a future worth remembering. And once belief takes root, clarity must follow. Clarity is cutting through the fog. It's choosing what matters and burning the rest. In a world addicted to distraction, clarity is rebellion. Every scroll, every notification, every voice telling you what you should be, they pull you from your power. But clarity sharpens you like steel. The most powerful minds don't do more. They do less, but with ruthless precision. They don't chase 10 things. They pursue one, with everything they have. You cannot win a war if you don't know your mission. You cannot build a legacy if you don't know what you stand for. So ask yourself, what do I want, really? Not what looks good on a resume. Not what your parents, your peers, or society told you to chase. What would set your soul on fire if nothing stood in your way? Because that's the direction. That's the compass. Without it, you're a ship lost at sea, drifting toward the rocks. Vision is the architecture of greatness. And once you see it clearly, you must protect it. Feed it. Fight for it. Because every day, the world will try to blur it again. And when your vision is clear, purpose becomes inevitable. Purpose isn't found in a moment. It's forged in motion. You don't discover it by sitting still. You uncover it by doing hard things, failing forward, and listening to the call that keeps coming back stronger every time you try to silence it. And make no mistake, your purpose is not small. It's not to survive. It's to expand. To build. To elevate everyone you touch. Your purpose is the reason you're still breathing. Your gifts are not accidents. Your struggles are not punishments. They are blueprints. Clues. Raw material for your rise. Don't ask if you're worthy of your purpose. Ask if your actions are worthy of it. Because the moment you begin walking in purpose, everything changes. Energy returns. Fear shrinks. Discipline takes root. And that's the next step, discipline. Discipline is love in action. Not love for comfort, but love for your future self. It's doing what needs to be done, even when no one sees. Even when no one claps. Even when it's not convenient. Discipline is what separates those who dabble from those who dominate. And it's not built overnight. It's built daily, in the dark, when it's cold, when it's inconvenient, when your feelings scream, stop, and your future whispers, keep going. It's built in early mornings, in late nights, in silent sacrifices. It's what took Kobe Bryant to the gym at 4 a.m. while others slept. It's what drove Elon Musk to sleep in factories when the world laughed at his vision. It's what allowed Serena Williams to become a symbol of excellence long before the cameras turned on. Discipline is what sustains the dream when motivation dies. And make no mistake, motivation will die. Which is why you act anyway. Because you are not driven by hype. You are driven by hunger. And hunger must be fed, with action. Action is the lifeblood of momentum. It is where dreams stop being dreams, and start becoming destiny. Not massive, erratic bursts of energy, but consistent, intentional steps taken daily with conviction. You do not need to move mountains today. You need to move forward, 1 inch, 1 decision, 1 act of courage at a time. Because motion compounds. Action stacks. Progress is not born from perfection, it's born from movement. You don't get clarity before you act. You get clarity through acting. The path reveals itself as you walk. The fog lifts when you stop waiting and start walking. And yes, you will make mistakes. You will fall. You will look foolish to those too afraid to try. But that is the price of rising. That is the cost of becoming. Every empire started with 1 step. Every masterpiece began with 1 stroke. And every breakthrough required someone who refused to sit still. There are people with more talent than you. More resources, more support, more opportunity. But they'll lose. Because they wait. Because they hesitate. Because they lack the fire to act through fear. While you move anyway. You move through the fear. You use it. You dance with it. And every time you do, it shrinks. You grow. And the world starts to bend around your will. That is the difference between the average and the exceptional. The average waits for conditions to be perfect. The exceptional creates progress in chaos. Because they understand that perfect doesn't exist, and even if it did, it would never build grit. Discomfort is the furnace of growth. Adversity isn't the obstacle, it's the architect. Which brings us to resilience. And make no mistake, if you want to master your mind, you must become fireproof. You must stop seeing pain as punishment, and start seeing it as preparation. Life will break you if it can. Not because it's cruel, but because it's a gatekeeper. It wants to know, are you serious? Are you worthy? Will you keep going when most people quit? Every hero you admire was shattered at some point. They were doubted. Rejected. Dismissed. And they came back stronger, because resilience was in their bones. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Malala was shot for going to school. Bethany Hamilton lost an arm to a shark and still returned to surfing. They didn't just survive, they came back sharper, wiser, unbreakable. Because resilience is a muscle. And you build it by choosing to rise, one more time than you fall. It's in those moments, when everything feels lost, when the world goes silent, when doubt is louder than hope, that your mindset is tested. And if you've cultivated it, it will carry you. It will speak louder than fear. It will say, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a greater version of you. And when the storms rage, gratitude becomes your anchor. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are still here. You are still breathing. Still fighting. Still able to choose who you become next. Gratitude is not weakness. It is fuel. It turns what you have into enough, and what you're becoming into a miracle in motion. When the world tells you what's missing, gratitude reminds you what's possible. When your goals feel distant, it brings your focus back to now, to the ground beneath your feet. To the small wins, the lessons, the pain that shaped you. Gratitude turns adversity into advantage. It transforms struggle into strength. Because it reminds you, nothing was wasted. The detours taught you patience. The heartbreaks taught you boundaries. The losses taught you value. And all of it, was building the version of you that could not be shaken. When your mindset is rooted in gratitude, even failure becomes fertilizer. You don't fear the fall, you welcome it. Because you know that growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens in the fire. In the silence. In the stretch. And to stretch, you must adapt. Because the road is not linear. And if you cling too tightly to the plan, you'll miss the opportunity disguised as a detour. Adaptability isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. The oak that does not bend breaks. But the willow survives the storm. So don't worship rigidity. Worship progress. Your goal is not to stay the same. Your goal is to evolve, to keep showing up with new tools, new perspectives, new strength. Darwin said it best, the species that survives is not the strongest, but the most adaptable. And in today's world, where change is constant and chaos is standard, adaptability is not optional. It's essential. But even as you adapt, you do not drift. You stay anchored in vision. You stay loyal to the outcome. You simply become flexible with the strategy. Like water, you flow. Around rocks. Through cracks. Over walls. Because a winning mindset knows this. Obstacles are not stop signs. They are instructions. Clues. Catalysts. Teachers in disguise. And when you learn, when you truly learn, you become unstoppable. Because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Wisdom, forged in experience, is what separates the informed from the impactful. The most dangerous person in the world is not the one who knows the most. It's the one who lives what they know. And that is the difference. Most people consume wisdom like entertainment. They read the quotes, watch the videos, nod their heads, but never apply. They collect inspiration like trophies on a shelf. And then wonder why their life feels the same. But a master of mindset, a true warrior of the will, they don't just listen to wisdom. They become it. They turn every lesson into action. Every scar into strength. Every failure into fuel. Because they understand. You were not born just to learn. You were born to lead. To contribute. To move something forward that would not move without you. And that begins with how you think. Because your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. And the lens through which you build it. When your mind is fixed, the world feels small. When your mind is defeated, your vision blurs. When your mind is reactive, your power belongs to someone else. But when your mind is mastered, when your thoughts are aligned with vision, rooted in purpose, and fueled by relentless belief, then nothing can stop you. The traffic doesn't shake you. The doubters don't distract you. The storms don't destroy you. Because you are no longer operating from reaction. You are living from intention. And this is where everything changes. When you wake up with intention, you stop drifting. You stop asking, what will the world give me today? And you start asking, what will I bring to the world? You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the tone. You shift the room. You lead with fire. That's not arrogance. That's responsibility. You were born with power. But that power requires ownership. And ownership is rare. Because it demands that you stop blaming. Stop pointing. Stop waiting. And start becoming. Own your pain. Own your story. Own your future. Because no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you greatness. But if you master your mindset, you won't need them to. You won't beg for a seat at the table. You'll build your own. And you'll bring others with you. Because true greatness is not about domination, it's about elevation. And when you live from this space, when your attitude becomes unshakable, your focus becomes absolute, your drive becomes untouchable, you become magnetic. People feel it. They don't know why, but they're drawn to you. Because energy doesn't lie. A mastered mind radiates. It uplifts. It commands without control. It inspires without effort. It leads by example. And here's the truth the world doesn't want you to know. You don't need more validation. You don't need more likes, more followers, more applause. You need more discipline. More conviction. More connection to the fire within you. Because that fire, when protected, when honored, when fed, will burn through every excuse, every limitation, every lie you've told yourself. And in its place, you'll find the real you. Not the one shaped by society. Not the one who dimmed their light to make others comfortable. Not the one who doubted their worth. No, the real you. The one who walks into the room with quiet certainty. The one who moves through life with calm intensity. The one who doesn't need to shout, because their actions speak louder than words ever could. That version of you has always been there. Waiting behind the noise, the fear, the stories. Waiting to be remembered. To be activated. And it all begins here. In the space between thought and action. Between hesitation and decision. Between surviving and living fully awake. You do not need permission to become who you were meant to be. You need decision. The decision to rise. To master your mind. To stop waiting for a sign, and become one. Because there's someone out there who needs your strength. Someone watching, silently, wondering if it's possible. Wondering if they can overcome. If they can rise. If they can win the war inside. And when they see you. When they see the way you carry yourself. The way you show up. The way you refuse to break. They'll realize, they can too. That is leadership. That is legacy. That is what a mastered mindset creates. Not just success, but impact. Not just wealth, but wisdom. Not just survival, but sovereignty. So ask yourself, right now. What kind of life are you building? What kind of example are you setting? What kind of power are you stepping into? Because the time is now. Not tomorrow. Not when it's easier. Now. The pain you've endured, it prepared you. The losses you've faced, they refined you. The voice you've silenced for too long, it's ready to rise. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more wondering if you're enough. You are not only enough. You are destined. But destiny is not handed to you. It is claimed. By the one bold enough to believe. Brave enough to act. Disciplined enough to continue. And wise enough to stay humble through the fire. So rise. Walk forward. Master your mind. And create the life no one thought was possible. Except you. Because that's what it means to cultivate a winning attitude. Not chasing the world's definition of success. But commanding your own. The war is within. And you just won.